filming outside today because A, there's a mini heat wave going on, a day long or 2 days long or something like that. And B, I have finally been driven, after weeks and weeks of getting into smaller and smaller spaces for filming, I've been finally driven from inside the home, and the only place I can actually film is outside because it's so noisy in there and there are so many people doing different things. We're having all of our woodwork done. And actually the timing was unbelievably bad, but it was the only space they had to do it, and so they're doing it. But we're on week 5 now, and everything's just in absolute chaos. So it's actually quite nice to be out here, and hopefully you can hear the birds singing and the river babbling on behind me, and it'll all be really lovely and a bit of a change. Tractor started up across the valley, so not quite as peaceful as I thought it was going to be. Should we just crack on? The first thing in my favourites this month is this beautiful Liberty robe dressing gown, to the majority of us, that I bought from Liberty a couple of weeks ago now. And I love it so much that I'm actually quite scared about being outside in it in case a bird poos on me or I sit on a snail. You would laugh if you saw the protection I have underneath me on my bench to make sure that nothing wet or dirty gets onto my new dressing gown. So I bought it a couple of weeks ago. I probably deliberated over this purchase for a good few months with different patterns, but they kept selling out, and they've got a couple of different cuts. But it's one of those luxury purchases that I've wanted for years and sort of never felt that I could really, you know, pull the plug. That's not the, press the switch on. And finally I did it, and I love this print. I'll put all the details in the description as usual because I can't remember what the print is actually called. But they've just cut them really nicely. They've got these quite sort of strong shoulders and this lovely collar, and I'll get you a better picture of the full length one, but you can see them on the website, and they're really elegant, but really just nice fresh cotton feel, so perfect for the summer. Yes, very much a luxury purchase, but as I said, it's one that I've wanted for a long time, and I just couldn't be more pleased with it. So that's my first favourite. From Liberty and luxury to toilet problems. I don't know whether I've talked about this too much on YouTube, but for as long as I can remember, I've had sort of a tendency to get urinary tract infections or cystitis. And when I mentioned it, wherever I mentioned it, maybe on my blog, so many people, hundreds of people, wrote talking about their own experiences and things like that. And I think it's a really common thing. Anyway, I haven't had one for a couple of years now, but I've been left with this sort of, I don't know whether it's like a mental scarring or something, but I always feel like I need a wee, but I don't need a wee. There's nothing there. And so recently I went for a couple of sort of exploratory things where they use a camera. Don't want to go into it, horrendous. And they couldn't find anything. But the consultant did say that quite a lot of the time it can be linked to like not constipation, but just slow bowel movements. Anyway, I can't believe this video has taken such a turn. He recommended flaxseed, and by coincidence these came free in my last HelloFresh delivery. If you're not in the UK, HelloFresh is, I should do a disclaimer because I'm actually working with them, but I'm not being paid to say this. It's like a fresh ingredients delivery service, and they give you the recipes and you make everything yourself. I love it. It should be in my favourites, but I kind of don't want to do it because I'm working with them, and so it feel a bit sort of disingenuous. Anyway, these came free with that. Quite often they give you like a little freebie, something to try, like a sample of something. And I got these, the Linwood flax seeds, and I've been having them on top of my granola and fruit and yoghurt, or in porridge. Don't really taste of anything, but apparently they're really good for helping getting everything moving. So that's a lovely little bit of anecdotal material for you, and I can imagine that the luxury brands in this video are really going to rejoice. This tractor, I swear to God. Yeah, the luxury brand's going to be rejoicing at being included alongside bowel movements. So let's get cracking with them, shall we? Charlotte Tilbury. I need to actually tell you exactly what this is called, this thing, because I love it. I've got it on now. It's like the nearest I've ever found to a lip gloss in a stick. Look at that. It's so ridiculously glossy. Long-lasting moisture lasts pretty much the whole day, except this doesn't, so it lasts for as long as it's on. But it's not like a long wear lipstick by any means. This is Crystal Happy Kiss, this one, and it's a hyaluronic colour balm, and I just think it's brilliant. I've been trying to find loads of sort of glossy balm lipsticks recently, like a gloss in a stick. I know that scents are really subjective, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and just say that this, I think, is quite possibly, it's at least in my top 3 men's scents. And it's by a very niche, small, independent brand, I think, Laboratory Perfumes. And this is Amber. And it is what I imagine. I don't know. I think it's what Tom Hardy would smell like. I'm just gonna go straight out with that. It's ambery, but it's not that sort of powdery, sweet talcum powder amber. It's deep and but just imagine a really, really sexy man who's maybe like James Bond style character, perhaps, sleeves rolled up, lovely forearms. Didn't know what I was going to say then, did you? And just, you know, he's just right. Do you know what I mean? And he's been out in the desert on some kind of, what are they called? Objective? No, what are they called? Or a task. Can't remember what the word is. It's not going very well. And he's got a bit hot, but not sweaty, right? And this is what you've scraped into the bottle. This is what he smells like. Oh God, it's just amazing. I don't know whether they do samples. If they do, just get a little sample of that just to try, because I know it's really difficult buying online, but good God, it just gets me going, that scent. You could douse that on a tree and I'd try and shag it. Cut that bit out. Last thing is a book. This is by my friend Mad About the House, which is an incredible interiors blog. And she has written 3 books now. And this one is sort of, it's more like a workbook than a book, if anything. Like a workbook stroke guided scrapbook with bits of book inside it. And it's basically for people who are renovating their house, redecorating their house, or just want to sort of zhuzh their house up, you know, make little changes. It's the planner, your home, your story. And it's lovely. The idea behind it is that Kate guides you through your decision-making process. You write everything down, you stick in your swatches and your bits of wallpaper, and you draw out your floor plans and your sketches of your furniture or whatever. Stick in your magazine tears of things that inspire you. And then at the end of everything, this becomes your record of that process or journey of doing up your house. And I think it's such a nice idea. It's like being guided through a scrapbook, so you're much more likely to finish it, but also the bits of guidance that are in there are so helpful. You need to read her first 2 books if you're doing any kind of decorating, any kind of house change. I'll link to the first 2 as well. You must read them. They're absolutely brilliant. They're not judgy. It's everything that you can understand. It's not really opinionated, so that if you have got a certain style, it makes you feel rubbish about yourself. She's just very, very clever at talking about interiors and making you feel very inspired about interiors. So get this, it's online now. It launched a couple of weeks ago and I can highly recommend it. And that's my 5 favourites. I'm sure that you'll be very pleased that this is low on the beauty stuff, because lots of you say that you would much prefer to have non-beauty things. So your wish is my command. Hope that you enjoyed that. And as I said, check her on Instagram for the beauty videos, because that's where they'll be. And I'll see you in the next favourites video, or before, if I get the time to do something else. And I do want to, because YouTube is, you know, my original thing. Maybe I'll do some house stuff. I don't know. But I'll see you soon at any rate.